ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the finale, the final episode of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. I am the number one Kylo Ren fanboy, Travis Snell.
I'm Madam Harkazar Domas.
I am the Dark Lord of the Sith, Kirklin Patzer.
Ooh, I had a good one, but it's totally just... I am the... I'll just go with the child, Taylor Field.
Clean.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to thank everybody for last week. You gave us some really good support. The Rise of Skywalker spoilers review was our second biggest episode of all time.
Oh,
So, yeah, that was good. Thank you very much because that did better than we were expecting. So that's always a good thing where you like all the feedback we've gotten. So thank you very much for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the next few days there will be a Witcher review. I'm going to pop up there. I'm going to record that tonight. You will be in some point in the near future. And then the last episode, I think, of the year is always the bloopers one. I'm finally exploring that tonight. There's some good ones. There's some pretty good moments.
Nice.
So, yeah, that'll be the last cast. And then 2020, God, that's weird to say. 2020, we're going to be kicking off with some best days of the former decade. We're going to do some previews. We're going to do the Golden Geeks for the 2019s as well. So in the few weeks, there's a lot of maybe like oh, look at this huge news. But click on all the stuff because it's all good cast. If you listen to our Golden Geeks before, our 2019 or 2018 previews, they're lots of fun because we get a little wild. They get a little long. So we get a little. We whip
out the whiteboard for those ones.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then we're going to be talking best of movies, best of video games, stuff like that. So it's going to be a good time the first few weeks. What was I going to say? And then I don't know when it's going to drop because Taylor Field is working on some logos. But I'd say in the first 2 weeks, you're going to get our phase 2 2020 plans of all the things we've teased about what's coming to Patreon, commentary tracks. We're going to have the whole year laid out for you. So, and that's what I want to start with because last week I said I got a big announcement. So Taylor Field, I want to, congratulate you guys.
Oh no, I forgot about this.
At the stream, you guys, you beat Dylan Muss and I, and I'll take the fall on that one because I was asleep when they used their cheat code. Very well. I have no salt. Taylor for years been like, oh, Tyler Briggs, I fucking hate him because he used cheat code. No, Kirklin Patzer, he was cunning. They had a good idea. Use it when I was asleep. So congratulations. But the good thing is with Dylan being champion, I'm going to be chairman and up as Taylor. For the whole year, I've been saying that I wanted a rematch with you, with a wrestling match. And because it's just me as the chairman, you can wait until 2020 to answer this. But what I'm throwing down is you have to wrestle me in a rematch from the one we did a few years ago, or I'm going to strip you of your team titles. Ooh. Kirkland can stay team champ, but you're going to lose your title. So you can think on that, but that's what's going to happen. You've been avoiding me. You've been saying no. You've been, I won't do it again. But I think you like that title, so I don't know if you're going to want to give that up.
There's always been some foul play for that match.
He attacked me 3 times last year, physically.
3. Yeah.
I definitely did not just attack you. I mean,
There's video footage.
You attacked me. And Pan Solo, he was doing some weird
with your
stuff.
Split personality, Pan Solo. So tune into 2020 because you can sit on that and just think about that. But that's the announcement because that's fine. Kirkland stay champ, but then you got to lose that title. So... and I'm ready to give you...
Who's gonna be the ref of that one? Because last time the ref, Tyler Briggs, was attacked during the match and knocked out for parts of it.
I would want Tyler Briggs to return as the ref.
I think he would because he's pretty fair, as he was the enemy of the Wolf Order for a long time. So I think he would honestly call it down the middle.
So you don't think he was in on it?
What?
No, I think he's an unbiased judgment.
Maybe he is the way Taylor's talking about him over there now. So
yeah, you're praising him.
How many Ubisoft points did you pay him for Uplay or whatever?
Not enough.
Ubisoft points.
So 2020, look out for that. Next 2 weeks, you're going to get some big announcements. You know what was big? Hopefully. The Mandalorian.
GV
it's
big.
back. GV big. So we're going to do a quick non-spoiler, what our overall thoughts are. Then we'll get into spoilers. We're going to say 3, 2, 1. I'll let Taylor say it because he's fucking Mr. Mandalorian over there.
Mr. Mandalorian.
Anyone, you know what? I liked this episode a lot. I enjoyed it. I think it was a good, solid finale. It gave me hope for season 2. Not that I think this is like an awful show, but just kind of I think they set up some things well. I think they close off some things well. I've liked the new kind of antagonist a lot. I think they did a right amount of fan service where there's some stuff like, oh, man, that's cool, but not too much. It was a really well-paced episode, and I think, which is a good thing, because I think I said this last week, or it was tied, this was my favorite episode, and that's a good thing for the finale. I think it had a lot of good emotion. It had some good action scenes. I think the budget still at times is no spoiler, like IG-88's in this, and there's times where it looks a little TV, and like, I get it. I'm fine with that.
You can see the green screen in some scenes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go that. You see George in the background. Yeah, do that. And I think there is a little pacing issues at the very end. I think some things, even though it left some things open, it closed up really quickly. And then there's just one scene that's been debated about from some people. Some people love it, some people don't. This episode is directed by Taika Waititi. You can definitely feel that. The only scene I'm not a fan of is the beginning scene. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but that's been a debate. I'm on the side of I did not like that. We've talked about that with Thor Ragnarok. I think there's some humor that, I've always said like Loki took over Asgard and it's just like a big joke and it never sat well with me. This is nowhere near that egregious, but there was a few times like, okay, but that's just Taika, right? That's kind of like he throws out a lot of humor, a lot of stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I think this was a good season finale and I am excited for season 2, but I hope the episodes that I liked or we liked, it's more like that and more less than what we got in the middle. So good finale.
Clean. I'm definitely not as hyped on it as you were. I think it's a decent episode. I think there's some fun moments. I am on the opposite side. I really liked that scene, and I think, it's an interesting episode because it's definitely there is a couple moments, 2 scenes in particular to me that like scream Taika in a good way. I like him, but obviously he does have a very different style than any other directors for the Mandalorian episodes, but even just other like filmmakers in general. So it's definitely noticeable. But then there's other parts that I feel like were very by the numbers, and I would even say that like in Thor Ragnarok, like sometimes you just gotta do the plot stuff or do the boring stuff, and I think that I don't know. Some of that a lot of it comes down to like the writing story wise, but they had to wrap some things up. But I feel like there's a lot of just like kind of boring stuff, or I feel like they could have cut like 2 or 3 minutes from this episode, just like making each scene a little bit shorter, a little bit more snappy. I just felt like I was bored for pretty much the whole like middle section of it. As a finale, I think it's pretty good in terms of like leaving off, like setting up well for the future without being like a big cliffhanger like episode 1 or something, but still like having some direction that you're interested to come back. Although I don't know, we'll do our overall, I guess, of the season afterwards, but yeah, overall, it's, I guess, for this particular episode, I'd say I think it was okay. I had a couple little problems, but overall, I just wasn't super hyped on it or the character moments. So, yeah, that's me.
Cool. Yeah. I agree with Travis. I think this is my favorite episode so far. I as well. I really like that introductory scene or whatever. Very, very Taika. Very humorous, I guess you could call it. But it worked for me big time. And yeah, I thought this episode had a good amount of action as well as kind of I don't want to call them like straight up emotional scenes, but like
just character stuff.
Yeah, character stuff. So I liked it. Left with a good cliffhanger and got me pretty excited for season 2. I really don't have too many major issues with it or anything that is notable. It's not even really a spoiler, but there's a flashback scene in here, and I think it's the best one that we've gotten so
100%.
far. Yeah. So I like that, and I don't know. I'm excited to talk about spoiler stuff, but overall, I liked it a lot, and I'm excited for season 2.
Taylor
Makes me happy.
The field
Makes you happy.
This episode was really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I don't really have any problems with this episode.
Oh.
But I'm very excited to talk about it. It had the ending just blew my mind. Because I was thinking of things.
Careful.
Oh, I'm extremely careful. I'm sprinting on ice right now. So
Sprinting on ice.
That's not careful.
That's not careful at all. That's reckless.
I'm tiptoeing on ice. Sorry, I messed that up.
I don't know. I saw Kevin McAllister sprint on ice once. It worked out really well for him. So.
But yeah, no, the ending it had such a great cliffhanger, and there was a moment where something was happening. I thought, okay, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, that'd be funny if it was this scenario, and it turned out to be just that scenario, but then in a context that I wasn't expecting, but it's something that I recognized right away, and I just absolutely just loved it. It just is mind-blowing, but it's so cool to see that addition make it into this live-action screen, so... do you have a question there?
I had no. Well, I kind of have a question, but in the spoiler section, based
We'll
on
start
something
there.
both you guys said.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I loved seeing Cara Dune in this. I think this is probably my favorite episode with her in it. I loved getting to see more of her story, and again, IG-11 is just such a delight. I really, really like him. I think he's definitely gone up there as probably one of my favorite droids up there with K2SO, because K2SO is definitely my favorite. I love that sarcastic tone he has, and his humor it's just humor that works with me. And I find IG-11 is very similar to that. And I love how Taika just kind of brings him to life. And was very cool just to see the story pick up after the previous episode and kind of continue on and just have an epic conclusion in this finale.
Clean.
I feel like that's why Taylor loves it when he's like, "Oh, I'd wanted this," and they did it. I feel like this show is just a lot of like, whatever you want, you're getting in this show.
I know. I just call up Dave and he's like, "Okay, let me talk to John.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna get it in there."
I thought I had that relationship with JJ, but I don't know after Rise of Skywalker, it might be gone. Anything
JJ.
else? Non-spoilers.
Nah, let's get into it.
3, 2, 1.
Geekverse, assemble.
Oh.
All right, Taylor, start. What did they? So Moff Tarkin or Marv Gideon? He's
Marv.
stuck in Marv.
Marvin.
Moff Gideon. He's stuck in his little ship, and all of a sudden you see, and then what happened, Taylor?
Well, I have a question first. Do you know or have any kind of like what did you
spot.
think that was? That dark saber.
I feel
thing
like
that
you
It's
should
just
have
like a-
revealed.
It's just like a laser cutter thing. I don't know. I didn't think it was. I thought it's like a discount lightsaber.
Okay, because I wanted to have. This is good. This is good. I
Yeah,
wanted Dylan.
but
I
you
didn't want
even
to tell
answer
him.
the question. You
Well, I
said,
know,
Oh, it's a
I'm-
dark saber. You said, "Hey, did you know what that?" I say, Taylor, what is it? And you say, "Wait a second, Dylan, do you know what that
I didn't.
dark saber
I didn't want to
was?"
say what it was yet because it's a very big thing. But I wanted to know Dylan's point of view because then I feel like that allows that a bunch of other people that aren't huge like into the Star Wars
You
lore
told me
they
earlier, the
can
Jedi are evil.
relate. They can relate to your perspective. So I wanted to hear your perspective on that because
Yeah.
what it is essentially is the first Mandalorian that was inducted as a Jedi. That was his lightsaber, and when he passed, the Jedi kept it, and then there was a clan.
It's not called a lightsaber though.
It is a lightsaber. It is
It's a dark saber.
Yeah, it's a Mandalorian who was inducted as a Jedi
Okay.
and became
So
a
the
Jedi
black
Master
part in
made
the
it.
middle isn't like. I thought it was just like machinery or something.
No, it's
and
an actual
light
like,
was, like,
lightsaber
emanating
hilt
from
that
it.
has the blade igniting
It
from
does
it.
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was a Jedi Mandalorian's weapon, and then Clan Vizsla, who is basically
Jesus Christ.
We're getting into the
I
weeds.
know.
On Favreau.
So basically, this is also in the Clone Wars Death Watch, who we got to see in the episode as well.
Mhm.
They're descendants, and so they stole the lightsaber back from the
Yeah.
Jedi and everything like that. But yeah, so it's only ever been seen first in the Clone Wars cartoon, and then again in Star Wars Rebels. Like
Mhm.
Darth Maul uses it,
Yeah.
and lots of other. Cool
Is there
stuff.
just one?
There's only the one. Yeah, it's basically if you have you as a Mandalorian present that basically to the people,
Yeah.
it can unite all the clans
So,
as a sign of respect.
What about it is different than a lightsaber then? Like, is it like a kyber crystal still thing going on, or is it something different?
I don't I don't actually know the actual specifications of how it's built. I've
Okay.
never really looked into
Yeah,
it.
I just thought it was like
but-
a laser cutter. I didn't actually think it was a lightsaber. I thought the black part in the middle was like part of it, like
Mhm.
part of like the metal of it, and then it was just like some light emanating from that. Like, so it's kind of cool.
Mhm.
It doesn't really matter though. Like whether or not they showed that doesn't really make any sort of difference, does it?
Well, at this point, I think it does because
I think it does just for the canon junkies.
for the canon junkies and the fact that
Yeah.
Moff Gideon
Yeah.
is still alive, so he still poses a threat, and him being ISB and him having that, it connects how his story connects to the Mandalorian Purge, and now
Mhm.
once the Mandalorian, in my opinion, he finds out that that's where the Darksaber is, he's gonna want it because it's a huge piece of Mandalorian culture, and
it's like their Mona Lisa.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
like they'll do a lot to get their hands on that
Because
and
usually the leader kind of has that, right? Or one of the leaders.
But
And-
he,
Well,
so
that's
but he
just
doesn't know that Moff has it.
No, like
No.
it's kind of popped here and there, back and forth, like and just vanished. Like originally, Pre Vizsla had it, and he was a descendant of the Jedi that made it, and
Mhm.
then he's the leader of Death Watch, who are the Mandalorians that we saw save the Mandalorian as a boy when they
Yeah.
all landed in. That's their insignia on
Okay.
their shoulders.
they're more
and,
extremists.
They're more extremists, yeah. So it's
So-
cool to have. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, because to you that's like a big thing. You think that's where they're gonna go next season, where the Mandalorians are gonna try to hunt this thing down. But for my the way I you guys both mentioned this, so you think the ending is like a big cliffhanger. I didn't see it like that at all. Like I feel like it's pretty ambiguous because obviously Moff and the Mandalorian really don't have any sort of connection anymore. Like I guess if he finds out about that saber, he'll have a reason to go try and track him down or something. But I just feel like they kind of tied everything up and left it pretty open, right? Like they could start like the next season, right? It could start a week from the end of this or like months, and it wouldn't really matter.
I agree with that. I think they will intertwine because I still think Moff obviously will be after the baby,
Yeah.
right? And I think what's
Well,
going to happen is when he's
yeah.
after him, he'll see the saber, and
Yeah,
that might
like-
become because there's a chance that maybe he hands off Baby Yoda next season or Baby Avocado,
Mhm.
but then maybe the saber takes its place as the MacGuffin, or he just takes it. The other thing is for like the canon people is it may confirm like the fates of some animated characters that were last seen with it. So that's the other thing for people like Taylor that are excited or intrigued because it's like,
I understand why you're excited because it's just like a cool thing, right? You know, I'm sure it's all over those encyclopedias that you like to pick up.
Visual dictionaries.
But I don't know. I didn't really see this as like a cliffhanger ending because even then, like his goal, he kind of has like a loose goal now of just kind of train the avocado, or more so take it back to his people.
Yeah, I don't
but
think
that's
it's
like
a cliffhanger.
That goal could not be achieved in season 2. It could be never achieved. Like it's just like a very loose goal.
The
right?
cliffhanger that I took from this is that this Moff Gideon, who has a huge connection tied to the Mandalorian people, has this weapon. And him having that weapon alone, like if he were to just survive, then it would show, okay, yeah, he's probably going to come back. But him having this weapon shows that he's going to play a larger role in upcoming events, I would feel, especially because that weapon is the Darksaber. And that I think that'll connect him more into the story largely.
I don't know. That's where I disagree, because how does it connect him? All that Mandalorian has to do is kill him and take that sword. All these other Mandalorians are dead. There's maybe some out there, but I think that was more a fun for the canon and stuff. I don't think it really dictates story other than showing him alive, being like, okay, he's still going to be after the crew, but I don't think that. I think it'll play a part, but I don't think it's going to be the main MacGuffin to get after.
The thing is, it's not like the lightsaber is like a Death Star. Like whether or not he has it doesn't matter. Like he's not any more powerful.
Yeah, still takes a shot to the head.
I definitely wouldn't say that it's like it's gonna run season 2. It's definitely you need more weight than that. But
It'll
I just
be a
think,
side plot to it.
Yeah, I just think that's. To me, that's the cliffhanger of like, okay, this is going to lead up to something where the Mandalorian is going to acquire this or try to obtain
100%.
it.
He's going to get that saber.
It's and again, the major cliffhanger for me at the same time is he's obviously looking for more of either Jedi or Luke species, or not Luke species, Yoda's species.
Yeah.
But at this time, I'm pretty doubtful that
maybe
Luke
this
has
just
his
comes
temple
down
made.
to we've had this debate before on cast of what you consider a cliffhanger and what I consider a
Yeah.
cliffhanger. Because to me, cliffhanger is like episode 1 where it's like, holy shit, I need to know what happens next. Whereas this, I'm like, yeah, I can wait 10 months. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing that like super pressing about the ending.
I think cliffhanger is like if Baby Yoda's there and he has the dark saber to its throat and it cuts away. You're like, oh, what's gonna happen? This is pretty like they're pretty off on. They've set their courses. We know where they're going. It's not too much of a cliffhanger. I think
This
for
is
you,
such a big cliffhanger.
I think it's just a reveal. I think that's what it is.
It's the
just
reveal,
it's
yeah.
not a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So Kirklin, how did you felt like it was a cliffhanger too? That's what you said.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you didn't know about this dark kyber
I looked
crystal.
into it a little bit just because I
Yeah.
thought it was a cool like looking system. I didn't know how like tied in it was to the Mandalorian or the Mandalores, I guess you'd call them. But like knowing that now, I feel like it gives it a little bit more importance though, because before, if it was just like a regular lightsaber, it'd be like, okay, this guy has a lightsaber. But him having this like artifact that's so tied in with like the Mandalorian culture, I feel like that. I don't know. It definitely will be a side plot thing. It's definitely not a Death Star. That's why I definitely agree with like your point of view there. That's not like an episode.
And
like
thank goodness
the end
we
of
don't
the
need
episode.
another fucking Death Star.
He has like that's what he's cut through. He has like a mini ball. One.
It's just tiny. He like holds it in his hand.
Yeah,
or
like a
something.
pokeball.
Yeah. So yeah, we might have been a little bit loose with like the term of what a cliffhanger is there.
Yeah,
But for me, it's just it's a good setup for season 2. It's not like it's not like they tied up all their loose ends. It's not like they found Baby Avocado's people, and it's just like, oh yeah, I can sit back and go see my girl on episode 2, whatever one it was, episode 3, I think it was. So, but yeah, overall, I was really like shocked by that reveal. I was not expecting a lightsaber. I was also happy to know that it wasn't a lightsaber that killed the droid, because I remember I was definitely like putting all my chips on that bet.
In the flashback?
Yeah, in the flashback. I remember. I think it was Taylor was mentioned. He was hoping it would be like a
put
Jedi.
everything on that. I
you
lost
lose
the
everything?
house, lost the car.
That's funny.
But yeah, so
You guys were. This is where you start, because you guys were right about Moff Gideon. You said he wouldn't die.
yeah.
I kind of was like half right, because I said he wouldn't die if they didn't show the feet, which we'll talk about later. But then what I want to talk about is #TrashTolly. They did take that helmet off. What did you guys think about that moment and how it was done?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't feel like it was very earned, because obviously, like, what is the result of him doing it? There isn't really a story purpose in this episode, because it's just like to some droid who's not going to remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
show like the viewers.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the thing. We're gonna have some moment in the future, I'm sure, where he is comfortable with someone, he takes it off, or like some moment where a villain like takes it off from him. But I feel like that moment's not going to have as much power now, because we as a viewer already have like half of the shock taken away.
Right.
And I mean, we know who we as people who or pay attention to this stuff, we know who's under there. We know
Yeah.
what his face looks like. But I don't know. I felt like there wasn't really a purpose to that, and I'm not really sure why they used that card already. Like, obviously, there's still like a bunch of story that's gonna like story reasons, character moments that will tie in when if that ever does come off again, or when it does, I guess, because I feel like it will happen. But I just didn't really see the point, I guess.
Yeah, I'll go next because I don't know where you two are. I'm pretty similar to Dylan, where at first when it happened last night, I was like, okay, I just kind of thought finale, it's a big moment, right? But when it happened, and then because the episode, I would say for the most part, the pacing, it's really quick. Other than that first scene, the opening, once that happens, it's like they're in the bar, they're shooting, they're in the sewers, like they're fighting. There's lots of action going on, so we move away from it pretty quickly. But the more I sat on it, I went, well, why do we really need that? To me, the only reasons to do it like that lackluster would have been one, if he was like an actual like alien or something, like it was revealing, oh, it isn't just Pedro, it's him in some prosthetics or
Yeah,
something.
that's a good point.
Or like his face is like really scarred up, but really he just had long hair. So all right. And then two, the only other reason is if we didn't know it was Pedro, like they kept that hidden, and the whole season we're like, who is the actor under there? To me, that would have been the moment, and maybe that's what they intended, and maybe it just leaked, and they're like, we gotta announce it. But in even retrospect, it still didn't really have the greatest cause, because it was just the robot. Now it can't happen again. I think there's going to be a time in the show where he might have the helmet off for multiple episodes, but it was strange for a first time.
Really?
What, like way in the future, like there might be a time where he takes it off, maybe it gets damaged, maybe he loses it. Just because Pedro's a star, I could see some episodes where he might have it gone for a few episodes. If there's something really emotional,
I guess that's the thing I'm thinking is like they don't want that because they'd like to be able to have a stunt guy in there for like certain episodes.
I'm thinking more near like a season's end again, or a show's end, where it's like he could have it off and like, oh, you have a new helmet.
Yeah, maybe like a show finale. For
yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I think. Just because I feel like you do, like, I like Pedro doing the voice, and that's cool, but I feel like you do want to have him act eventually, right? We talked about Check Out Rise of Skywalker view that we all were kind of like, putting the helmet back on Kylo Ren, maybe not a good call. So luckily this is just a small scene, so it's not like, look at Pedro acting great, he's just scared. But yeah, I'm in the same camp that I didn't hate it, but I thought they missed an opportunity. We saw his face. Even then, I think you could have done what they did a few episodes ago, where he took off the helmet, but we didn't see his face. But I don't know why they just didn't even scar it up. Like, give him something. Maybe he's missing an eye. Like, just make him look something different. But he was just, okay, it's Pedro. Cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't like overanalyzed it yet. So as of right now, it's kind of just like a first. I don't know. First reaction, first impressions. I liked it. I thought it was okay. I definitely understand like your point of view, where it's like it definitely takes away from like that weight that would have been on like a really like emotional scene, whether it is from like a villain, the one taking away, or if he's just doing that to like show someone his face. But I don't know. It's just there's a quick little like comedic like one-on-one with him and IG-11. I forget specifically what he said, but it was just, I don't know, it made me chuckle.
Like before the helmet?
Like when he took it off, and then
your like,
like
primary receptors have been
oh
damaged.
yeah, it's like my head,
my brain. He's like, it was a joke.
Yes, so that worked for me. But like I definitely see how that could have been done better, whether it be we didn't actually see his face, and then it was just like even if they still did that little like one-liner, and then it still would have been funny, even if we didn't see his face.
It's just like, it's not like they're gonna start marketing this show as like, you could log on to Disney Plus and he's like holding the helmet on his side and you see his face. Like,
yeah, right.
I just don't.
He's not that big a star.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna change anything.
No, so I definitely understand that point, and I think I'd have to agree, but as of just first impression, I thought it worked okay.
You're a
for me.
big Pedro Pascal.
I'm a huge Pedro Pascal
like
fan.
seeing
I
the
wanted
face.
to see his face in episode 2, so I'm glad I at least got to see it in this season. And man, he looked good. Even though he was a little bloody, he's a good looking man.
Yeah.
So
he wears those scars with pride.
I think that's still what hurts the show, because I feel like the only reason they did it was just because it is TV. Like, it's a finale, we need something big, and I think that's where they are still stuck in TV world a little bit. They're not doing their own HBO kind of, even Marvel, Netflix, where they're not staying to the norm. So this felt like old school. Like, it's the last episode, we gotta. Even though I don't know what the talking point is, like I don't know how that's big. You know, like I said, if we didn't know it was Pedro, fine, because we could have all this whole time. But like, I don't know what's supposed to get us talking about.
Well,
like,
that's
we
not
saw
what
his
I'm
face.
talking about on the comment sections of Facebook and stuff.
But you're talking about Dark Saber, right?
That and other things.
Because to me, there's always two things right. You got the mainstream people you got to look after and the hardcores. The Darksaber is looking after hardcores. I don't think this changes anything for the mainstream because I don't think my mom even knows who Pedro Pascal
the mainstream,
is.
I think, are still talking about Avocado.
So that's what I
think,
mean.
so.
That's what I mean. Like, why wouldn't you save this for another time, even for a mid-season? Like, when we talked about, like, let's say next season 2 is the same thing where they have these shitty. Well, sorry, I won't say shitty, but like these lesser episodes. That was harsh. But then you could have saved it for something like that. Like, oh, this was a lesser filler episode, but he took his mask off, so it's like, oh, that's what made this episode memorable. But I don't know, especially there's a lot going on in this finale. I don't think they needed it. You know?
Like plot wise, it's like, they could have very easily had the exact same scene where IGA heals him without needing to take that helmet off.
Yeah.
It didn't need to really happen for plot purposes, for something to make sense.
Right.
Taylor, did you love it?
I was the whole time I was thinking to myself, well, don't take the helmet off because Travis is gonna drop his Travis told you so.
I didn't though.
No, you
until
didn't.
now.
But
you
I
did it
just-
for him. Look at that. You've leveled up with the Travis told you strategy. Get
You'll
other
say
people
Trav-
to do
yeah.
it for you.
Travis, I told you so.
but I wasn't hating it, but it's not what I would have done. Like what I would have had done is we don't get the helmet off. We don't have the helmet off for like a long time.
Your
They
pitch
saved
last week, I
that.
listened back, you said the series finale. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe that.
Series
still.
finale.
Last episode, we finally see Pedro's
He's like an
face.
alien, dude.
Yeah.
Not even Pedro.
He's a
yeah,
Gungan.
series
They made that
finale or
joke already. I
something,
stole
or
it.
when they're gonna like kill him off, and the final season or something like that. Have a moment
Was that
where
a pun? Kill him off?
kill him off.
Moff Gideon coming back?
Yeah, there you go.
Yo.
Pun
Kill him
intended.
off. But have a moment where he is about to die and Baby Yoda is just sitting there, or Avocado's just sitting there, and he takes the helmet off for him. And, something like that where it's really heavy and emotional. And a long, like, a 5-minute scene or a 10-minute scene where you can really progress it and make it feel...
So you just want them to reenact the ending of Logan is what you're pitching pretty much?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, him and Avocado spent a lot of time, one-on-one time together. Like, has Avocado seen him without the helmet, do you
I
think?
bet so. Because
Yeah.
anytime they're showering or something like that, he's like looked in the
They're
distance.
showering
He's
together.
like,
He's
no,
like
I said-
scratching his
I
back.
said he's showering.
He's got his helmet on.
I said he's showering. They
You
should
don't like me lobster?
They should do a scene next year where he has to bathe Avocado though. That'd be funny. So
Whoa.
not
Has-
anything like
has
that.
the
Little
Just say
Yoda,
the
Yoda
babes.
He's 50 years
Bathe
old,
him,
man.
yeah.
He's not a
Go
baby.
bathe them.
Yeah.
Place of the babe.
The babe.
The babe.
The wee
babe.
One thing we skipped over. What did you guys feel about Moff Gideon? Because obviously we got a lot of him in this episode. He's alive, so it seems like at least for season 2, he's gonna be our main antagonist, or at least play a big role. What do we think? Because this is our first kind of real introduction to.
I wanted to call him Moff Gustavo.
Moscow style.
Gustavo.
I'm not gonna agree with that joke. He's a
He's got like a weird accent.
he's playing him very different than Gus. Yeah, he has
I don't
an
know.
accent.
He was he's like,
No,
he was
no.
talking the same way, and he was like, the way I say
No,
you have
he-
3 options. And then he recites who they are, which is, again, just something like Gus would do in Breaking Bad. He knows everything about his opponents.
His accent is different. Yeah, but the difference is Gus is a very silent recluse. He doesn't say much. This guy's all like, I know you and you're Dinjad, and like, that's not
he was still
Gus.
pretty calm and collected about it, because
No.
even then
This is the
he
guy
was
who would
like,
hide out in the
you
chicken
don't. He
restaurant
was
for
like,
5
no, but he was
5
like,
hours.
oh, you don't trust me. Well, that's because I'm looking at this from my best course of action that benefits me, and he's speaking in the same generic way that,
I
that
take-
Gus
So
does.
is this something
Generic.
that
Wow.
bothered you? Like you wanted?
Oh no, I love it.
Yeah, I'll take great offense to that. As Breaking
I
Bad's
don't know
my
why we're
favorite.
talking about that.
Breaking Bad's
What's the point?
Breaking Bad's my favorite show. I feel like he's playing a character that is different. All is the same as like he looks like him, but that's about it. I'm a big fan of Giancarlo Esposito. He's one of the best actors in the world. I like this, but I'm glad he's alive, because if this would have been it, I would have just been like, all right, that he did a good performance, but I want to see more of him. I think he elevates the material more than other actors, because I feel like a lot of actors in this show have not been the strongest, where he is a high quality caliber one. So I'm excited to see more. I like that he was this know-it-all, and it was kind of logistics, right? He's a planner. He's looking at his opponents. He knows them all. I love the Cara Dune of Alderaan shout out, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, I really liked him, and I'm excited to get more. And I think we could have a good villain on our hands, which I think that would be useful for this show. So yeah, I like them.
Cool. First of all, I'm glad that I know like how his name is spelled now, because I've always
Yeah.
like I couldn't really remember his name over the last couple weeks. I've kind of been downloading it,
Like
but I've
his
never actually
character-
seen it
his
written
character?
out. No,
Or
like
the-
him.
Oh,
like John
John
Carlo.
Carlo,
okay.
I was expecting there to be like a hyphen in there or like something like that. But no, it's just, GEAN Carlo. So just one word. cool.
Giancarlo.
It's beautiful.
So now I know how that's spelled. But
when we get him on the cast, you'll be ready.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have the Breaking Bad. Like, I stopped watching Breaking Bad around when his character came in, not because of him, just because I wasn't that interested.
Fuck John hyphen Cars.
Holy shit, his voice is fucking epic. He has such a great voice.
Oh, yeah.
So that whole like scene that Taylor was talking about when he's just breaking it all down, he just delivers those lines so well. And I mean, I don't know. I go check out our Rise of Skywalker review. I was talking about how I just find the villains in Star Wars very disappointing overall, but I think this is, I mean, it's a very little material to actually work with, but still, like, for what the character is, I think he's great to fill those shoes, and I think he is fun. I'm glad that he's still alive. I'm glad that he's kicking, and we'll see more of him in the future, and that he apparently has a lightsaber that I didn't actually think was a lightsaber, but it is, and it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I think he's a good character to have in that role, and while it is like a very small amount of material, I think he kind of nailed what that character is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm excited to see more of him in the future.
Yes, I'm very excited. I was hoping he would get like a scar, kind of like what I was predicting going into this episode. Especially,
No, he's very pretty after that.
He is very
plane crash.
That was a big crash, and I feel like he should have at least had a little burn, or a little scar, a little teardrop or something. I don't know, but
Teardrop, like tattooed on.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, he's alive, and I'm happy because I'm a big fan of his. It's interesting because comparing him to his character like Gus in Breaking Bad, I found
identical, right?
yeah, the same voice. No, but like they're very different, but it's interesting because in Breaking Bad, I thought he was such a good villain because he was such an unlikely villain. Like he seemed like just the way he dressed, he just seemed like a fast food manager. What's that?
Meek. He was
Meek.
very meek.
He's very meek. I don't know the full extent of what that word means. But
Just roll with it.
I'll just roll with it. I'm just gonna keep going.
Meek.
But so here, like this time around, he's a lot more cocky. It seems he's a lot more confident. But I love that actor. I think he just delivers that like scary villain so well. And I feel like in this show, I feel like you need a cool villain like that because I wasn't the biggest fan of like his name was just the client, right? The Imperial client.
Yeah,
The guy that talked weird.
I want to see.
Yeah,
the
like
baby.
he seemed a little creepy, but not
yeah.
intimidating. Whereas Moff Gideon, he definitely seems like he could kick your ass. Like even when like the firefight was going on, he wasn't like cowering behind like an obstacle. He was standing there with no helmet. I felt like he easily could have got.
Yeah, did you guys
popped.
see that? He whipped out his pistol and he shot that Xbox Series X that was just hanging out on the ground there. Just blowing it up.
He's like PlayStation all the way. But yeah, that character. I don't even know what I was going on.
Sorry,
with him. No, that's all right.
My bad.
I'm just glad he's alive because I want a badass villain like that in the show, and yeah, I'm proud of my prediction. It was correct. I knew he was gonna live.
Nice. You knew it in your bones.
Why would they bring him in for like an episode and a half? Come on.
Yeah.
Talented actor like that.
They just killed off some people. Right? If you look at the,
They've done it before. Have you seen Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A while ago.
Meek is quiet, gentle, easily posed on, submissive.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
he's pretty meek.
Submissive?
Yeah.
I don't think Gus was really submissive.
No, but that's
His-
Kirkland said he appeared
Yeah.
to be that.
Oh.
How do you feel about Moff? Other than he was just a carbon copy of
Meek.
of Gus Fring, apparently. Not Gus the Chicken Man, by the way. He's not fucking Al's Toy Barn in Toy Story 2. That's what they call him,
Turtle
Gus
doves.
the Chicken Man.
Turtle doves.
Hey, just draw that man in a chicken suit.
Turtle doves.
Oh, turtle doves. Oh. Oh, Gus Fring.
The Home Alone fans. out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moff Gideon. His appearance in the previous episode it was super stellar. I really, really enjoyed it.
Super.
What was
stellar.
different between his appearance in the last episode and this episode? I
This
gotta ask.
episode?
Does he look different?
His dialogue and what he was able to deliver in terms of combat
Okay.
and
Combat.
execution.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I do have to come forward because I haven't put out
Do it.
wrong information here. So I'm a grown.
That's just a
I'm
strange way to say that.
I'm
You
a
sound
grown
like
man, and I am gonna, atone for my mistakes. And I relayed false information. For
Atone.
some reason, down the line, I mistook the Battle of Jakku as being 5 years after Return of the Jedi, when in fact it is only 1 year. And this show being 5 years after, now it really made me wonder because I was digging more into Moff Gideon and where he would have had this arsenal and this small detachment of Imperials. So now I'm really curious what background Moff Gideon has, where he found all of these resources. Because another thing that I learned too, at this point in time, a lot of the Imperial remnants were kind of self-promoting themselves to control certain sectors. So obviously Moff Gideon, we learned he was ISB, which is Imperial Security Bureau, which is headed by a person named Yularen who died in the first Death Star explosion. And the ISB is basically, they would look into all the security breaches in the Empire. They were like on the need to know. They knew everything. They were top tier. Like, you didn't want to mess with them. And when they were involved, it was serious. And I love that they made Moff Gideon kind of a remnant of that, because it's just it backs up his character. It adds more weight and depth to when he knows everything about these heroes like Cara Dune from Alderaan and the Mandalorian and Carl Weathers. And it's fantastic that they brought that element in. But there's still a lot more that I want to learn about him. But seeing him in action in this sense, and the Mandalorian kind of like taking him out on his TIE fighter, and when he was just kind of just swinging around the ship and everything, that was just such a great sequence or whatever. And I thought it was funny too when the scout troopers at the beginning were saying like, how long do we have to wait? And the guy's like, oh, he just shot an officer for interrupting him or whatever. You know, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, something like that. And yeah, it fits with the character, and I'm just very excited to see more of Moff Gideon, because when he came out with that Darksaber, it just totally blew my mind. And again, I thought like, oh, it must be like a little vibro blade.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I could hear like the lightsaber like noise when he was starting to cut. And I'm like, there's no way it's going to be a lightsaber. Like, I thought I was expecting like a little butter knife thing, but no.
It just cool. It totally caught me off guard. And just that scene, again, and like the concept art in the end credits of him standing on that TIE fighter with his like Darksaber, it just looks gorgeous. So yeah, he's a very interesting character. I love, again, political Imperial figures like him and Tarkin. And again, like Thrawn, like just they have such unique personalities that you can really attach to. Krennic is at the bottom of that list because he was a little bit of a crybaby throughout most of it.
Where's General Pride and Hux on that list?
General Pride and Hux? Well, Hux is probably like the same level as Krennic, but a little bit like...
Hux is a spy.
Sort of
He betrayed
He is a spy. He is a spy.
Spoilers
Yeah,
for
we got
Rise
some
of
Rise of
Skywalker.
Didn't know we were doing that.
Pride, I don't know. It's... who knows if we'll see more of him or not.
Oh, please, no.
Do you remember what he called Cara, like her full name? I totally forgot it. It was like Cara Cynthia or something like that.
It was pretty...
Something like that.
I thought it was
Alderaan.
pretty elegant. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Another Alderaanian princess.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice, cool little touch, because one, she's been in... What? She's not a princess. That was not...
That one hit, yeah, that one hit you a little late.
I sometimes just ignore some of the things Taylor says. But one, obviously, she was already like a rebel shock trooper or whatever, so that was good motivation. But also her entire planet was blown up. A very common thing, though, in Star Wars nowadays. But
is it?
What? It very much
Happens
is.
all the time.
You know,
Happens more than it doesn't, let's be real.
even if you haven't seen the new movie, you've at least lost 7 planets. As Force Awakens, JJ's like, we're gonna blow up 5 this time. All right.
Shout out to JJ.
Shout out to JJ.
JJ.
But I like that touch. It's like if you just kind of ignore the meta-ness of it, her planet, her homeworld was destroyed. She has a tie to Princess Leia, which is kind of fun there. So I liked that. And I liked the whole gang the most. This is not the first time, but this is when I really liked Carl Weathers this episode. I thought he had some good one-liners, and he's just like, just the friendly support, but I liked him a lot. I was happy for him on the venture. I think Cara Dune was good. Baby Yoda always just steals all these scenes. Like, there's at one point where IG-11 has him in the speeder, and it's just like zooming on like his ears flapping and everything like that. There's some really great cute Baby Yoda moments in here. But yeah, the whole gang, I really enjoyed it. And IG-11, I really liked that. Obviously, they leave some stuff opening, but I liked that it was kind of a closed door on him hating droids and maybe warming up the idea, because this droid sacrificed himself and helped him out, saved his life, saved Baby Yoda. So I think that was a good, payoff for every episode. It's felt like he's been like, I don't like droids. So I liked everything that went on with the crew, and hopefully we see them all again. It was a little disappointing that IG-11 died again, but maybe he won't be back, which is a shame. But oh well, we got some fun episodes and some fun stuff with him. So
did you like that scene when Carl Weathers was basically like talking to Avocado, saying, "Oh, do your hand thing,
do your baby magic,
do your baby
whatever."
magic,"
Yeah,
and he waves at Carl
Yeah, that
Weathers.
was cute. That was adorable.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask actually, before IG-11 went in and actually self-destructed this time, how do you like his little I feel like they had a sentimental moment between Mando and him, and it just was so cheesy to me. I really was not digging it. I don't know. I just thought it was for Mando to just hate droids like his whole life, and I understand that this one's like helping him out in this situation, helping like Baby Avocado. You can kind of trust him. I don't know. It just seemed like so cheesy to me. He's like, "Oh, don't do it." Blah blah blah. He's like, "We need you. Your time's not up." It's just like, dude, he's a droid. Like, come on.
I
feel like you should be taking that opportunity if you're like, I don't know.
I think part of it is that he sees that droid as like an extension of Quail.
Oh, okay.
He's dead now.
Okay.
Possibly, but.
And maybe he's just concussed.
No.
Yeah.
He's
just droid. No,
he can't
no
see
papa.
anything.
The droid also did like just save him, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
And the
flew in
avocado.
there, protected the baby as well.
Yeah.
And
Without
yeah.
him,
That's
they'd
fair.
be all be
Pretty
dead.
good
No, that's
droid.
fair.
Because they couldn't get to
considered.
the sewer either. So, and I did like, because I don't have this in my notes, so I would probably forgot. I like the little shout to Quail, like he gave him a nice little burial. And
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
was
I like
good
that.
because at first when they just said, "Oh yeah, he's dead" on the radio, I was like, "Is that literally all we're gonna get?" Because that has happened in the show sometimes. Like that's disappointing. He's just like, "Oh,
Just getting
are
eaten
you
by
sure he's
vultures.
dead?" Oh, and then we move on. But I like that he went back and
It was
did
a
that.
little moment, but I think that's if you overdo it, then it would just seem weird because they don't
Mhm.
really know each other.
Yeah.
Well,
that
it makes sense. I
He's
mean,
just crying.
Quill's dead
right?
body would have just laying next to the Razor's crest. So, I mean, if they didn't address that, then he just says that the Mandalorian got on a ship and flew off, leaving the body just
yeah, but
dangling
I,
there.
that's where we disagree. I feel like the show's done many things like that so far, where it's like, you should address this in good writing. They're like, yeah, whatever, it's Star Wars, it's a fun adventure show, right? So they could have easily just been like, because sometimes they go into like he's a cold badass, and other times he's like, oh, he's a caring sort of dude. So they
Cold
could just been like,
badass.
whatever, Quill, and he like steps on the body to move over. No, I'm joking. I would have never. I would have had major problems with the show if that happened. But yeah, I like that.
To continue on with IG-88, I felt like it was kind of, I don't know, I thought the ending was just weird for him because earlier, like 10 minutes prior, he cruises in to that war zone, hops off a bike,
Kicks ass.
shoots a
He was
bunch of
kicking
dudes,
ass.
all of that while being limited by having a baby on his chest. So I felt like the fact that there was 10 stormtroopers out of that gate was very strange. Like that's the thing, the logistics of like how dangerous stormtroopers are is very inconsistent in like Star Wars
Mhm.
history. But I think you should at the very least try to be consistent within like an episode or within
Yeah.
a single movie.
And that's why
right?
one of the things I didn't like with the beginning episode I didn't like that one, it started with last episode Baby Yoda gets captured and then we start with some humor, but I didn't like that literally in the scene they're showing them not being able to hit the can and Taika's doing his really meta like, look, they can't hit, but then it's like, then why am I supposed to care
Yeah,
in 2 minutes when the battle
exactly.
happens? That's why for me sometimes I love Taika, but sometimes he goes too much into parody, and that's why for me the opening scene didn't work. It's like, I'm supposed to believe these big stakes are happening, but then you're having these stormtroopers like, oh my god, another day, we can't hit the can, let me try. And they're shaking the gun. It just felt too it felt weird because the show has had humor, but it hasn't had that type of humor. If the whole show was that, I'd understand, but that's why that didn't work for me, because the stakes were a little gone. Then you're like, oh, these guys are idiots, right? But then they weren't, like you're saying, because
Yeah.
IG-11 I feel like still could have put out he didn't have to self-destruct right away, maybe put out a fight, and then if he's losing, do it. But yeah, I agree with those statements.
And I mean, obviously he like walked in the lava, but then again he could have just not got off the boat, right? And he like with all of them together, I think they easily could have taken out the stormtroopers. There's no
Mhm.
reason to think that the stormtroopers would get them in that case.
Yeah.
But
Or at least
It
just
was
camp
a-
there and
It
shoot.
was a risk. I mean, the boat was moving on its own, and I mean, it's like if you obviously they had the higher ground and they were able to point in to the
Yeah.
cavern, and you're in an open boat where you can't duck down. There's no room to have any cover when the stormtroopers
okay, but
do.
then how come he he gets like 7 seconds to walk slowly trudging through the lava before they even acknowledge that he's there at all?
And either way, he's gonna in your
like they
scenario.
weren't looking in. Like they didn't
No,
see
like
him until he
walked,
popped
and
out
they
of the
lowered
cave.
their guns too, because I think maybe I'm not sure. Like when they lowered their guns, I did find it confusing, and maybe it was like he just said like he said something along the
Yeah.
lines of like.
And the thing is,
going
even
to
at this point,
protocol or something.
at this point, Mando
Ah.
still has those grenades. He hasn't used them yet on Moff. So like I don't know. That's the thing is it's always like okay, well stormtroopers kind of shitty, but then sometimes they'll just get you, you know. And I don't know. I agree. Well, Travis makes a good point. I didn't really think of it in that scene at the beginning where they're just missing their shots. I just thought it more because they destroyed that fight against Moff and his dudes right out in that battlefield after they spent like 5 minutes building up this like X-web or whatever the fuck that weapon's called that was like really
yeah.
strong. But none of that really
That was
mattered
cool.
because they just easily destroyed them and suffered no losses whatsoever. And then even like IG-88 not taking out that flame trooper. Do they have a name? Or are they just called flame troopers?
Flame Trooper.
The guy with the red
a great name.
markings. Cool look, I guess. I feel like he could have easily shot him down before he was able to, whip out the flamethrower. That one, whatever, it's fine. He was busy hacking that wall, so I can understand that. But yeah, I just felt like that whole thing didn't really make sense to me, and I think that's why I didn't love this episode as much as you guys. I just felt like the whole episode kind of dragged a bit because I thought the action was okay for the most part, but I think all of the scenes could have just been like a little bit shorter, a little bit more snappy, and yeah, I thought this episode just went on a bit too long, and it was a little bit sluggish, and I think the action was a big part of that. And then I think the fact that I didn't really like, I don't know, I guess we could transition to the flashback scene, but I just felt like that was also a really long scene. I don't think we got any new information. Like, I guess we kind of do, but at the same time, I already felt like we already knew what was going on there, and like Moff just straight up like tells you that he was, responsible for that raid. So you didn't actually need a long flashback to show more of that. I think it's fine. I didn't hate it by any means, but I don't know. I just felt like there was a lot of weird, unnecessary stuff, and this episode really was quite simple in the grand scheme of things, and it was, I don't know, just too long for how simple it was. I get it, it's finale. You maybe want to have some punch with some of these scenes.
Well,
but
I think that flashback did justice in the sense that we got to see, like, okay, the Mandalorians come in finally and save them, and how that starts. And I like how, again...
Yeah, but like we kind of already knew that, right?
We did, but again, we didn't... Well, I mean, we didn't know for sure because some of us, like myself, assumed it was Jedi, or we didn't know how it was going to resolve in that sense. And I wasn't expecting, like, a group of the Mandalorians to come down, save them. And then again, that kind of scene...
Wait, you thought it was possibly Jedis that were...
I thought we would have got
yeah,
like clone
yeah.
troopers and stuff because it's the Clone Wars, right? So I thought it would have been someone else. I didn't expect it to be Mandalorians.
Lots of people thought it might be Yoda because that's why he has affinity with the baby. Because
okay.
like a Yoda could have saved Yoda, like
maybe
Yoda.
I saw it differently. I just kind of thought, the Mandalorians came and saved him and took him from there.
But like
and
another
that's kind of just what ended up happening. So that's why it maybe had less impact for me.
And another thing too that with that scene that I enjoyed was when he's like being lifted off and flying, but he's looking down at the battle. It was a good kind of nod towards the future part of that episode when Mandalorian is carrying the avocado and he's flying up and avocado's looking down at them too. It was kind of like a nice kind of bridge.
I think
for
I
those
found
two
that a bit
scenes.
cheesy as well.
Really?
The fact that he's just like fucking Willy Wonka and with this child off into space. It's like, where are you going, man? Your ship's over there. Aren't you? Like, why are you going straight up into the sky? I don't know. I just...
Isn't he fly? Don't you assume he's gonna fly to a ship, right? Like with his jetpack?
Yeah, but he's just going straight up. I don't know. I think this is one of those things where I just logistically found this episode a little bit strange. Just like the little things, which, honestly, maybe the whole thing is just because I didn't like Rise of Skywalker, and I'm not hyped on Star Wars anymore. And so all these little things are just kind of like, they didn't bother me as much as all the problems I have with Rise of Skywalker, which I go to a review. But I don't know. I just felt like there's a lot of weird little things in this episode, I guess.
Yeah.
I agree with Kirkland. I think this is the best use and the best introduction of the flashbacks. You've heard, if you've stayed tuned the whole time, I've hated the like drumming and the PTSD.
As soon as I saw her, I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah. So I liked the placement of it. I didn't think it wasn't too long, but I didn't think we needed a full on. We got the two flashbacks put together and then the ending. They should have just started with them closing the gate and then it opening because we knew that was coming and we knew it was probably Jedi or probably them. So, but I think if you would have just cut that first a little bit, it wouldn't have felt so redundant because it's not like a 22 episode thing. We don't need a reminder. This was only a few weeks ago when we got this. So I liked it. It makes sense. Like obviously we talk about it. It does make sense. That's how they get into talking about it being a creed and not a clan, or a clan creed, not a race or not born into it. So I liked all that. And like I said, it actually made sense, the flashbacks, to place them there now. So it was good. I was a little disappointed it wasn't Jedi because I was like, oh, it's just Mandalorians. It makes sense story-wise. I'm not that wise, but I was waiting for one of those words to get, and then get cut down. But I liked it.
Yeah, I've already mentioned that this was my favorite flashback, but I do definitely like see your point where I think it could have been shortened big time, that flashback scene, especially not show everything that we've already seen up until this point and then something new. Like if they had just started kind of with like the doors closing or whatever. So I don't know if that would have helped it a little bit for you because it sounded like that was kind of some issues that you had, like just the length of it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the solution is.
I don't know.
I think for me, it's just like I kind of, to me, like what ended up happening in that moment was what I just kind of assumed was the case or was going to happen.
You're too
so
smart.
when it just happened as it was supposed to, it just took too long to do that, I guess.
That's cool. I really like just like the, I don't know, like the similar armor that they all had. Just seemed like they're on one team. I thought it was cool. When I first saw like the little antenna, I'm like, oh, that's like Django or something.
That's Death Watch.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was wondering if that's what was going to happen.
In the back of my mind, I was like, if it's Boba or Django, I'm gonna be so upset. Like I don't know. I just think that would be.
It definitely wouldn't be Boba.
Definitely not have been Boba. I guess so. Yeah.
Boba would have been still tiny at this point, right?
Tiny Boba, but
Boba.
Yeah, so the Death Watch, that's what they're called. So I thought they looked pretty cool. And then I don't know why I was thinking a similar scene, but when they're actually like seeing the armor, the female Mandalore, whatever she was called, I like that he got his signet and it was the Mudhorn. I thought that was cool.
I thought it was gonna be Baby Yoda, to be honest.
I thought that too. It would've been
Yeah.
pretty
Really?
cool.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just thought it would be something different, but yeah.
Fun fact: that signet that he got is the exact same look of one of the islands in Bionicle.
that is a
That
fun
is-
It
fact.
looks exactly like
That is my
Voyanui.
favorite fact of the episode.
That is
Fact of the week, folks. Where's our movie of the week? Also, what the
Taylor
heck?
didn't pick one.
Taylor?
Yeah, I liked all that stuff down there because again, it shows this whole clan like creed mentality, and I liked also because I thought them going down there and just all Mandalorians be there, be like, this is a little simple. So I like that they kind of exterminated a lot of
Toy
them.
Story 2,
Yeah.
movie of the week.
I don't know why more of them didn't leave right away. So they did kill a lot of them after the Mandalorian, but I think it's good because it has consequences for the Mandalorian. I think we didn't get to deal with that this episode, but I think next season he's gonna realize that those people wouldn't be dead if he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Did what he did, right? So I think he's gonna be dealing with that. So I like that. I like the woman who they have. I think her name, I don't know the character's name, but like Miss Swallow's doing a good job because that's her name, and that's kind of unfortunate, but I would have changed that. But I like what's going on there. I like that they left her fate ambiguous, so I think she's alive. She could pop back, but maybe she's dead. I love we got that shot from we got Celebration months ago when she like hits the stormtrooper with a club and like breaks the helmet. So
Yeah, that was cool.
I think it was a good action scene. Yeah, and I think that was a good setup. Obviously, we talked about it already, but a good setup of where we're going next year. You gotta, I love the little. Which I didn't know if I jive with this, the saying that Jedis were their enemies. Is that a...
Oh, the Mandalorians and Jedi were at war for a long time.
I know they were, but I guess like I felt like from my known Clone Wars, they did start to work together a little bit. Obviously, you got Obi-Wan
like in
and...
the Clone Wars?
Well, yeah,
Well, in
Obi-Wan and Satine.
That's very
getting
different.
on-
Like
okay.
in like Old Republic times when there was like
Yeah,
Mandalore,
the
and
Great
you-
Wars.
Yeah,
I
like
know
they,
that, yeah.
They were like at each
Okay,
other's
so
throats.
there's okay. No, that's why I want some clarification. So they're enemies, but I like that kind of that. I don't know, that switcheroo of this is like a moral enemy, someone you've had a past with, but because it is a orphan, a fondling, and it's just a child, you got to take care of it. My hard prediction is I think they're gonna find wherever this planet is, and I don't think there's gonna be any species whatsoever, and he's gonna be stuck
I am
with it.
gonna fucking cry. If
Whether
that
they're all
happens.
dead or whether it's just like they're extinct or they're just gone, I think they will find the point of origin maybe for Baby Avocado, but I don't think anything's going to be waiting there. And I think Mandalorian's going to have, I think he's going to be stuck with this thing for a while. And that's not stuck with, he's going to bond and be with child,
Yeah.
but that's my prediction for
Give
next
us the
season.
video game where you play as Mandalorian and you got him as the sidekick.
Oh yeah. Or do a time jump too in the show. Eventually get teenage baby or teenage avocado. But
Right.
yeah, that's my hard prediction that they're not going to find what they're looking for exactly.
Yeah.
It makes me so sad. I wish he could just drop him off on Dagobah and leave him with Yoda, because it just. I think
Yoda's dead.
Not at this point. Oh, is he dead? Fuck, he is. No. God, that
Here
makes
you go.
me more
Here you go,
sadder.
baby avocado. Go in this jungle.
No one's ever truly.
No,
gone,
what
Taylor.
he needs to do is what I still think the solution could be is I still think there's a DH Mark Hamill in play here because I feel like that's where it could end up because if you have this person that has force powers and there's only one Jedi around in the public known as Luke Skywalker, maybe you don't even see him, but I feel like at some point in the show, wouldn't the Mandalorian want to find Luke Skywalker to try and get some help with this? So I think Skywalker will, at some point, play into it.
But he
Ooh.
didn't know like anything about
Yoda or species, right?
like Jedi or the Force.
Well, yeah, I know. So
So-
that's what I'm hoping maybe he learns that over the next season
Yeah.
or whatnot. Because at this point, this is when Luke's just starting to put the
He hasn't put everything together. I think at this point,
He's-
it's only 5 years in
Yeah.
a 30-year span. So I think
True.
he's still exploring and probably trying to find Exegol or
yeah,
something.
but the legend of Luke Skywalker is real, right? So you could get somebody mention
the
that.
legend, but I think people might mistake it as him being like a pilot. Oh, Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star. I don't know if they're really
Yeah,
aware
maybe.
of like him being as a Jedi, because he wasn't a Jedi until Return of the Jedi,
That's
right?
good point.
So that's where, but that's Return of the Jedi. Then this is 5 years later, right? So there is a lot of time passed, and all it takes is for them to be on a planet. Baby Avocado used the Force powers, and someone go, "Oh, I saw someone use powers like that once before," and he goes, "Who is that?" And then you get, like I said,
It was Darth Sidious.
I'm back.
I'll take you to him.
Again, imagine that. He's the villain in this too. Fuck. Every Disney Plus show. He's good. But yeah, those are my two bold predictions. But I thought that was a perfect set for next season. No, I would have them escaping would have been fine, but I would have been disappointed. I like that we got a clear, video game arrow point and this is your next
Yeah.
task. Find Baby Yoda's home. Boom.
But I
Perfect.
like that that's not a set point.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's just like go find more info. So I agree. I think it is a good endpoint considering that it's going to be a few months before we get
yeah.
any more.
Just back when they're in like the what's it called again? Like the
The Concord. we looked up,
Concord.
right?
There we
Yeah.
go.
The Conquistador.
Yeah, when they're there, I really like how just like the explanation of like the foundlings and how like important that is. How it's not just like you're taking care of this person, like you're actually his father until you find his family. I thought that was really cool, and just like the Creed of two, just
Yeah,
him and
Creed
Baby
of
Yoda.
two,
That's sick. I liked all that stuff that happened in that cave there. So and
Cave of
just
Wonders.
the fucking badass dismantling of those stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Fucking wreck.
when they're coming in, she's like sitting on the ground. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cheesy, but it worked out for me. So
If you were in their shoes, would you take the gun and like poke her helmet like he did?
Shot right away.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot right away.
I would have
kick.
spat on her actually. Take my helmet off. Just maximum disrespect
Man.
before she's like dismantled.
Mandalore scum.
Yeah, the one guy got tossed into the furnace. That's pretty.
Oh, he's
savage.
gone instantly.
Yeah,
That's
he's gonna be
worse
turned
than.
That's a never
I don't
ending
think
pit.
he's-
The
I don't
Sarlacc
think he's
pit?
gone instantly. I
Well,
think it's
what's
a little
that?
bit.
It's the worse than
It's a long
Sarlacc
painful
pit.
I was
death.
gonna say
it's like
that's-
Gollum in the lava.
I was gonna say that's worse than the Praetorian Guard knocked over by Kylo Ren into that like.
Well, yeah,
I
because he
feel
went
like-
instantly. The fire. It's
Into the
gonna,
magic.
that
The fire's
stormtrooper
immortal.
gear is gonna melt into his skin and everything like that. That's not instantly, Taylor. I would say.
Well, he's instantly dead. I think his
All
brain
right.
is.
Not like stormtroopers have any brain to begin with.
Oh,
No, not really.
Hacking their
Except
intelligence.
Finn.
Finny.
All right, where do we want to go next? Anybody have a jumping off
I
point?
guess we'll
I got some
quickly
notes.
comment on that that opening comedic scene. I just liked it because it was full on Taika dialogue. I liked the storm. Or what are they're called? Speed troopers.
Scout troopers.
Scout troopers. I don't know much.
Speed
They're always
troopers.
doing- they're doing speed all
Oh,
the time.
yeah, they're always speeding around. That's what I thought.
we got it.
I like when they have a little bit more personality
Mm-hmm.
than most of the time they're just kind of these faceless creatures, right? Essentially. So I liked when they kind of had that little back and forth. He's kind of like hitting it. I was about to say beating it off, but he's definitely not beating it off.
Beating off Baby Yoda.
Hitting Baby Yoda
Beating
in the
that.
sack. Was that Jason Sudeikis?
It was, yeah.
And who was the other guy? Because I couldn't recognize that
His
voice.
name is like Adam Pally or something. He's
so
from
not
the
some known comedian.
yeah, he's from the Mindy Kaling Project or something
Okay.
like that. So he's like a known TV actor, but I don't know.
Right,
But yeah, it's
yeah.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun little sequence.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, how they're kind of fleshing out these characters as opposed to just being like an animatronic thing
Mhm.
that I thought they were when I was really young, because they just all look the same, so
Yeah.
I just assumed they're like robots or something. But I don't know, and I didn't know it was Jason Sudeikis. I definitely
Sudeikis.
Sudeikis.
Jason Sudeikis.
How do you pronounce it?
That might be
Sudeikis?
right.
I thought it was like
it hit my
SU.
ear
I think
when you
it's
said it.
Sudeikis because isn't
Sudeikis.
there?
I think it's how it's spelled. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. but
Just attacking
anyway,
me.
doesn't matter.
Anyways,
Oh.
I liked it, especially when he was like, oh, I really want to see it, and then he kind of, what does it do? It like bites him or something, so he just
yeah.
bites his
Yeah.
fucking finger.
beats that bag. I thought
Beats
that was
that
kind of
bag.
funny, but
That was the only time, though, I will say that I was like, oh, that's a green screen right there when they're looking out at the horizon.
Oh yeah. That was like the Thor. Taika
Yeah,
loves that.
Taika
yeah,
loves those
yeah.
kind of
Look at
green
this.
screens.
Isn't this beautiful, my
He
son?
must have like brought it from home. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got a green screen, guys.
I have it left over from Thor Ragnarok, eh? I guess we'll use it. We're saving budget, right, guys?
actually, I don't know why this came up right now, but Kara's like tattoo of like the rebellion symbol.
Her teardrop.
It's funny. This is, other than the first episode, this is the only episode I've watched like not on my phone, so I could actually like see it a little bit
This
close
is the
up.
one episode I watched on my phone.
I didn't know it was like the rebellion symbol. I thought it was just like a mole or something. So
I'm not gonna lie, it's the first time I noticed it as
Yeah.
well. And I've watched it on the big screen every time, so I'm clearly watching at midnight a little tired.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Solid. I think that's all my notes personally. So
I got some shout outs. Just
I really like
Oh.
the speed bike
Wow,
scene with
Kirklin-
IG11
that's
just
Boba.
dismantling. Of course, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, are you done with the intro scene?
are you done?
Okay. Yeah, I love the intro
Sorry.
scene. I totally found it to be hilarious. You know, I'm a man who loves clone troopers. I fucking love.
a good
What about
trooper.
speed troopers?
Speed troopers.
any trooper.
Never met
Anybody
one.
A
They're
little
too
less known.
fast. They're
It's a
too
little
fast.
less known.
Flame troopers.
Flame troopers love flame
What
troopers.
about chrome swag soldiers?
There's not enough of them. They're usually short lived.
There's only one. It wasn't done.
There's
so
only
well, was
one,
it?
yeah. But I love clone troopers.
child.
Clone troopers have personality. They're all unique, and then it's interesting because when the first time you encounter stormtroopers in A New Hope, they're just all their colors and their personalities are all stripped away. They're not clone troopers. They're all just one and the same, like a terrifying force. And the first time you see them in A New Hope, there's none of that stereotype or anything that of what they're capable of or anything. It's just they're an unending, infinite amount of these guys, and they're terrifying. And as we see them progress, they have different armor suits for different locations, and like they're all the same, and they all don't have personality or distinction. And I found that's something that's very terrifying at the same time. It also showcases that, okay, like what they're wearing and how they look, like it's fearful. And it just shows like an arrogance and how they're led as well. And I think it's just to see them in this point of view, and that brief little bit in A New Hope where we got that dialogue that they had when the tractor beam was being deactivated, I thought that was just, it's funny. And I'd love to see more of that on a larger scale, because to me that reminds me a little bit of, like Clone Troopers, kind of like their banter a little bit, but it's died down. And to see that brought into this scenario with the Scout Troopers over a long course of time, I absolutely loved it. I loved when they were talking and they was kind of like giving each other flack, and he pulls out his blaster, which for all of a sudden I thought Baby or Avocado was controlling him and he was going to shoot the other Scout Trooper in the head, which I'm glad didn't happen. But when he started shooting at the Xbox Series X, I thought like he was missing every single shot. And I thought, this must be, is this a joke? Is he not trying? And the other guy pulls out his blaster, shooting and missing. And like they look at the blaster. It's so funny.
Always
like,
blame the
oh,
equipment.
it must be the gun's fault.
Worked on Taylor.
Oh, it sold me. It's so good. And I love that scene so much. And it just got so amazing. And then when IG-11 pops in, just breaks the guy's arm. And the Scout Trooper took fucking forever to retaliate and fire on IG-11. He put his gun down when the guy's arm got broken. And I just feel bad for these guys because they were hilarious and they got smashed over the hood of a speeder bike.
Did the Jason Sudeikis? Did you notice Jason Sudeikis?
I don't know who these guys were.
You don't know who Jason Sudeikis is?
I know who he is,
Okay.
but I didn't know who was in the gear. And you said the other guy was from the Mindy Project?
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about then.
Oh,
that's
damn.
pretty cool.
Let's go, Taylor.
He's
How
gonna
do you
keep it
feel
to
about Sudeikis? Did it throw you off? Because that was the thing we talked about a little bit when Bill Burr popped up in that one episode.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so there's like a space Boston now based on this
Yeah.
accent. But
I
you just didn't like the scene in
yeah,
general.
I think no
Yeah.
matter who was there, so that was just like
What
that
if it
was just
Michael
salt.
Fassbender
that-
and Mads Mikkelsen?
with
Yeah,
no
what?
helmets on,
Well,
just making out.
It's
Where's my BB?
it's the same thing, right? Like I love Alien Covenant because it gave me Michael Fassbender kissing Michael Fassbender, but it's also a trash movie, so it was great to see.
Sure is.
And I would have loved to have
Sure
seen
is.
those two there, but like I was just not digging the scene. I don't think it's like a scene that kills Star Wars or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like Jar Jar
yeah.
Binks exists.
It's
It
the
just
death of Star
it just
Wars.
didn't do it for me. I just didn't dig
Yeah,
it.
that's
So I
cool.
was happy, and I think it went on far too long. I didn't like it in general, but it just went on quite a while for me. So yeah, just
It was
didn't
lengthy.
Yeah.
just didn't grind my gears
I
the
think
wrong
I
way.
just like that Taika pacing. Like
Yeah,
even I like that comedic element of them like cruising down this lava river. Right, it's kind of just funny like how slow they're moving. Like it's a
Mhm.
very like subtle Taika sort of humorous thing, where it's not like a ha funny, but it's still kind of.
Why did at one point they were trying to push the boat? What did they do when they just shot it? What did that help?
The molten rock kind of hardened to
Okay.
the actual ground. So
Because I was like, I had some weird like, what fucking logic is this? Like the boat can't move, and they shoot, and they're like,
It is
oh,
pretty
the
whack.
boat.
It is pretty whack. I'll give you
I
that.
was like, all right.
The way I took it is like they just brought some of the side with them.
Yeah, okay,
But-
fair enough. Yeah.
I
That,
don't know.
that makes more sense. I was just confused when it happened. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
If only they had a lightsaber that they could carve.
Next
Away from the
season,
wall.
next season, it's coming.
They will.
What about the R2? Like very humanoid looking R2
that was
unit.
definitely
That was kinda funny.
intense looking R2. I
Should've
got
just been
nothing
jacked.
on
You should just had like swole arms
that.
or
Super
something.
battle droid.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Astromech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have some quick notes to fire off. I wasn't a big fan of Moff being like, you have till nightfall to decide.
It was like midday or
Yeah.
something. I was like,
I was like, you can't think of anything else to make it that they, especially because they're in there, and then all of a sudden they just hear like noises and like shooting in there, and they're just Moff Gideon's just like watching in the distance, like they're trying to do something. So you're just it's just like the classic like Dr. Evil, like shark with laser beams on their head. Like it's like, why are we giving them till nightfall?
Yeah.
Say like, I'll give you 5 minutes, then fine, do that. But why till nightfall? Like it's dead ass daytime. It doesn't make any sense. I didn't like that.
I didn't
And like
that.
And like they even had, since they had the other troopers at the exit of the sewer, it's like they clearly thought that was a possibility.
Yeah. So like, and even then too, the sewer. This is sometimes where I think the show has a budgetary issue because like, how can we escape? The man presses button. There's a sewer just under that chair, 5 feet from you. It's like, all right, and that's fine. I'm not saying a sewer couldn't be in this thing, but the fact that it's like right beside Carl Weathers, like. To me, there was a lot of like coincidence eye roll in this show that still happens, and that was one of those like, all right, I'll roll with it. But
I like how classic nod it was to New Hope. You know.
yeah, that was fun. It was just so just right in your face. Where in New
Right.
Hope they like ran entire the Death Star and they found it. I did like the line at one point where Carl Weathers is near Baby Yoda, and he goes, "If you go near this," IG-11 goes, "If you go near this child, I will kill you." And it was really good. He's like, "Oh, I ain't doing anything." I like just all Carl Weathers' reactions in this episode. And then, yeah, that's all the notes I had.
I have a random. This is more of a film question than a Star Wars question. Like, so Taika directed this episode. Someone else directed last episode. Like, there's no how does that work for something like this, where you have these multiple scenes with Giancarlo, right? Like, obviously they filmed all of that at the same time. What do they switch directors out? Like, just hey, you have a turn in the chair. Like, how does that work? Right? Because that whole sequence with them in the building was like. Did Taika direct all of that? Not really, right?
No.
Or did he direct the stuff from last episode that was in that?
It could, because sometimes they do that. They did that a couple times with Saw. They would like, oh, this guy filmed the ending of it, but they cut it so they use it as the beginning of the other movie. So, but it also depends that maybe they just film that. And I guarantee you, like, John Carlo's there at least for like a few days shooting it, so it's like it might overlap with the directors. So I think it's like they might shoot a few things here or there, but that's where it's like maybe that's why the opening scene of this is really that stormtrooper thing, because that's a Taika one, but maybe the initial him standing outside is not. But I think for the bulk of the majority of the conversation, he filmed most of that. Because last episode, all it was him showing up, so Taika could easily film that, right? So
yeah, I guess to me it was like that opening scene with the speed troopers, and then like lava boat scene. Like to me, those are like Taika directed scenes. The other stuff, I don't even know. To me, it wasn't clear that he was there, which is fine. It's just kind of an observation.
I think he did. I think they have to be careful because I think Marvel's more moldable, but Star Wars, I think you have to be careful. So I think they just like you direct the script, but then also add some of your flavor and like what would you like that, because I guarantee that
like work this story beat in.
Yeah. Like I guarantee you that those trooper scene was not in there, and Taika's like, I want to do something fun, and like, oh yeah, that'll work, and that's your style. So that's how I think it comes in. That what would you add, and this, or like this is the box. You can add this, like, but you can't add anything outside this box. So, yeah.
Okay. What do you got, Taylor? You only brought the paper notes for the first episode, I think.
Yeah, because I was at work that day and I had to
okay. I thought that was like a stylistic choice on your part, but it was more like just based on
a little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. So yeah, I'm gonna touch upon this Darksaber a little bit more.
I'm very excited.
So I don't know what more there is to touch upon it. Star Wars theory.
This is for like the fans listening that don't know a lot about it or want to know like where it was kind of popping in from and such. So,
I feel like you gave that at the beginning of this episode. Someone that knows
this
where
part
the theory is.
Did I say all that at the beginning?
Yeah, you
like
said that
who
already.
Had it?
Yeah. You talked about like it was Bo Katan, right?
Oh my
god. Bo Katan. That's who it is.
You
you talked about all that and how it was like the Jedi's Mandalorian.
I don't know what else I need to know about it personally. And I assume the role of this casual Star Wars fan for the fans out there who are in my boat.
Just go to Star Wars Theories channel if you want to know more. He did a whole video that Taylor lifted some of his notes from.
What's crucial to the
I don't actually go to him for notes anymore, actually.
That's a lie.
You betrayed your trust.
Why not? What did he do to you?
I go to visual dictionaries now.
But this doesn't have a visual dictionary.
What's that?
This show doesn't have a visual dictionary.
No, but the weapons do. Star Wars Rebels visual dictionary.
Tell us what you need to tell us about the lightsaber.
So,
then we'll go home.
Interesting enough, this saber pops in the Clone Wars, obviously, and then it falls. It gets lost after Maul kind of has his turn with it, and then it kind of and then it comes into possession of Sabine Wren.
Terrible. You just subtle note. You're like, oh, it pops up a lot of places. Oh, and then after Maul had it, maybe the big story push about how Darth Maul get it, but no. Just
I'm not going into it for your sake.
You just spoiled that Darth Maul gets a saber though for me.
Well, you already knew that.
What? What? Maybe not. Maybe
this
fuck yourself.
He's playing his
This
game.
is a mess.
I knew it was gonna be mess. Continue.
So now Sabine Wren, who is basically a Mandalorian rebel, gets it 2 years before A New Hope, and she attains it. Is it really?
No,
Sabine?
that's Satine, right?
That's Satine.
So stupid.
Come on, man.
Why are there two Mandalorian people, Satine and
names.
Sabine?
They're different last names. Satine Kurz
Tyler and Taylor.
and
what the
Sabine
fuck?
Wren. Tyler Briggs, Taylor Field, and it's different.
Okay,
right?
so Sabine has it.
Sabine has it, and she hands it off to a woman called Bo-Katan, who is a famous, legendary Death Watch Mandalorian who fought in the Clone Wars era, a time like that. And
She was Satine's sister, though. That's right. Yeah. See, I had the confusion.
Travis, he's fucking on point.
She
with
was
this
Obi-Wan's sister. Obi-Wan's love interest's sister.
Yeah. And
Dylan just had like the lady trying to do the math. So the last time, to make this normal, the last time we saw a saber was Obi-Wan had a love interest in Clone Wars.
Sabine.
Satine.
Satine.
Her sister was the last
Sabine.
one. Bo.
Bean. Bo.
Her sister was the last one seen with it.
Okay.
yeah, Sabine Wren.
But we don't know what happened to it?
No,
Handed-
she's
no,
probably
we don't
dead.
know.
She's
She-
probably dead.
So
She-
Moff killed her.
Probably.
Probably.
Leading very
Like,
likely.
that's the thing. She
Leading
handed it
theory on
off
the
to
forums.
Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan then
Oh, it's
used
not
it.
Catan.
I thought it was Catan.
It could be Catan, whatever you want to call it. Like the board game, maybe.
Ashto.
But
So
it's
there's a
the,
Bo-Katan.
the board game is with a C,
Ashto.
and it's Catan. Her name is spelled with a K, so it could be Catan.
Cotton.
So, yeah. So
I joke.
it's interesting in this sense because now she has
Can't wait
it
to get a
still.
fucking 1-star review for this one. Oh, the guy
maybe.
and his Black Saber content. It's Bo-Katan.
It's Black Series.
Yeah.
So Bo-Katan has it.
Why are you talking about toys now?
Okay, I was very delayed. I was already on Bo-Katan, and now you're calling out Black Series again. Anyways, Bo-Katan. So she has it 2 years
Katan.
before A New Hope takes place.
New Hope.
Now, she used it, and she was rallying up Mandalore and all the clans against the Empire. And it was looking real good for them, too.
Right.
And now, obviously, something bad really took a turn here because none of them are left. And
Yeah.
they're talking about the Purge and such. So between that time that Bo-Katan has the Darksaber, right up until 33 years later, or 34 years around that time.
It's a
we
big
don't
pocket
know-
to fill.
It's a very big pocket, so we don't know what has happened in
Do
this
you think
time
there's
period.
any chance that she's not dead and he just acquired the saber and they may bring that character in live action a la Saw
So-
Gerrera?
Oh, I guess they could, because it wouldn't be 30 years. Sorry, I'm getting my
Yeah.
Force Awakens thing.
It would
caught up.
be
So
it would be 8 years.
It'd be 8 years. Yeah. So I mean, she was already pretty old in
How do we even know?
Rebels.
Bo-Katan was not old.
In
She was like a
Rebels?
young woman.
in Clone Wars, but in Rebels, this is like 20 years later.
Oh, right there. Yeah, you're right. Right. I seen
How,
Clone Wars.
how do you know that this is the same saber?
There's only one dark
There's
saber.
only one.
One saber
Well,
to
how is
rule
that?
them
Doesn't
all.
make sense. Why?
They only made one. They only had the
The-
materials to make this one.
Well, the Jedi
I'm
made
not
it.
saying it's right, but
Like the
that's what I've
Jedi
been told.
that the Mandalorian Jedi
Yeah, but
made
you're
it
saying there's
thousands of
30
years ago.
fucking years. Why couldn't someone have made a new one in that time? That's 30 years of untapped potential.
I think it's looked at as like it would be disrespectful. Like it's just one. Like you could make another Mona Lisa, but they wouldn't hang it with the other Mona Lisa, right? It's like we have the one Mona Lisa, and that's good enough.
Yeah, but in the show they don't say, "Oh, this is the one Dark Saber." You're
they
just
may do that. They
No,
haven't.
they
They,
may
haven't.
go
They
to it,
haven't
though.
canon like Clone Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
I think in this show they will establish this is when he sees a bit. That's the one.
But this
saber.
is all speculation. None of this is technically. It doesn't matter if Bo-Katan. We don't know if Bo-Katan held that same saber at this moment.
technically not.
At this moment, no.
no, technically not.
I just want to lay that out.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Just
that's
want it to be
fair.
known.
That's totally
Just want it to be
fair.
known.
That's totally
That
fair.
if this shit comes up in the later in the Mandalorian season 2, they need to explain some of this shit because I'm not watching the Clone Wars.
I built this in my chicken restaurant.
Anyway,
That's good.
Are you done? Or you got more facts?
I got more
I'm
saber facts. for
black
you, folks.
facts.
Black
Black
facts.
Like Black Series facts. Calm down,
It's like,
people.
what?
Yeah.
Calm down, people.
Kyle's
That was
texting me
your
right now.
They're jostled.
What else do I got here? Yeah, I got the awesome facts of the Darksaber
Yeah,
and
Xbox
That's
Series
what
X.
you
Just
titled it.
scrolling
This-
through pages of it.
just going through Facebook. That beautiful, that's Death Watch right there, that symbol on his shoulder. Just
I thought that's
Looks
the
like the
Sky-
Imperial.
That's the Elder
symbol.
Scrolls logo.
Check
my
out
guy.
Clone Wars. We did a
You ever play
retrospective
Skyrim?
on that episode.
That's
Dragon.
a Skyrim.
Check out
mod.
our Clone Wars retrospective. All the rest episodes are dropping in January, and it's gonna be fucking super, very tight.
Super very.
You're gonna
Very
get like
tight.
2,
Super
3 a
very
week.
that's all I got. I have another thing I want to shout out that's Star Wars related.
Shout it out, man.
Like to this episode or just
not to
in
this
general?
episode,
Because
but
if it's
like,
in
it's
general,
just
you
do
can.
it.
Satine.
You don't need to ask permission. Just do
Okay,
it.
just do it.
just okay.
Unless it's
So I don't know all the things surrounding this U.S. shooting that happened, but I thought it was really cool that Just wait it out. I'm
You
building
made it
to
worse, Travis.
Let him
You made it
finish.
worse.
Sorry, when he
So-
opens with, I don't know the details about this U.S. shooting.
No.
When he opened with that, I was
Yeah, maybe
concerned.
if that's the case, maybe you shouldn't say
I
that.
was
I don't-
concerned for our
I don't
podcast.
know. I don't know all the details
We're not
about
live, right? We
about
can-
the
we can
exact
cut it.
scenario, but I do know the result of there was a person there named Riley Howell, and he took down the shooter, and he died doing it, and it's very, very unfortunate. But he did save many lives, and he was a big Star Wars fan. And Lucasfilms actually sent his family a certificate of authenticity, saying that Jedi Master and historian Riley Howell basically collected many of the earliest accounts of explorations and codifications of the Force in the Ionomica, a 2-volume combination of codex, correspondence, and scrapbook. Though much of its contents would later be stored in holocrons, the physical books of passages written in the hands of the original sages, carefully preserved by Howell. So I just thought that it's super cool that this person, what he
They
did,
put him in
which
the
was
canon.
legendary. Yeah, they put him in the canon as a
Some
Jedi that protected
That's
like
pretty awesome.
That's
these
sweet.
historical things. So
That was a very wordy paragraph.
Yeah.
I didn't understand most of it, but
Yeah.
the idea.
The gist.
And I feel like
it's
I feel like it's a nice enough shot. You could have led with that at the beginning of the episode, because at the end of the episode, not many.
I
people
thought
hear
about it,
it.
but we just got right into that, and then I
Alright.
panicked because I didn't start off really well. So
But you fucking nailed it on the line.
Yeah.
I had to nail it.
Not
yeah.
like John Carlo, who crashed and burned in a fire.
He
I'm
did.
gonna give this episode a 4.76, just to give it a 0.01 more than the past two, to give it a little edge over the Chow episodes. I love the Chow episodes, and there's actually stuff in here that I dislike more than those, but I just liked a lot of the payoff, a lot of the flow. I would say I didn't say in non-spoilers, because obviously I didn't want to spoil. I didn't like that John Carlo crashed, and they're just like, "Well, Mando, we did it. Where to next?" And it was just
That was
very.
quick.
It was very
They
video
didn't get
game
the dog
cutscene.
tags.
Yeah,
No
and
kill confirmed.
and I also don't believe that you would go over there and not even like just take a peek, go headshot him. So that felt very again kind of hand wavy, like
They
whatever.
sent the
but
Jawas to go check it out.
yeah, maybe. So yeah, it's
the
4.
Jawas were fucking on it like a bonnet.
They were,
dude.
yeah. They were about
They were in there.
4.76, like I said, and that's for what I consider for this show. Is it some of the greatest television of all time? No. There's some people out there just like, oh yeah, I love this so much more than the movies. You can, and maybe because Rise of Skywalker, I understand, but there's been nothing in the show yet that has met like even near the heights of what the movies have achieved to me so far. So that's why a lot of people there's something like, oh, we should not get any more movies, just do Star Wars TV. I don't want that. I still want Star Wars movie, and I was someone that's disappointed in Rise of Skywalker. I still want big screen stuff. This does not replace the movies for me. It's a good, nice addition, but to me, it hasn't reached that level yet where it's like, this wasn't Daredevil season 1 where that came out. You're like, man, Marvel movies, I still want them, but like, there's something else and there's something great. This was like, oh, this is nice and this is fun, but maybe season 2, if we can get more episodes like the back half, or maybe episode 2, some of those more story-driven episodes, I kind of hope next season most of them are like that. If there's one filler, fine, but even with filler, like we said, there's things you can do to make the moments. Don't include anything with Toro. So yeah, this was still my favorite episode. I thought it was a
Bring back
really good
Toro.
close. Yeah.
Hashtag save Toro.
God.
Do you think he was under the helmet there for a second?
I hope so.
No.
I will give this episode 2,600 liters of lava out of 4,720.
All right. Taylor, you go, because I want to save Kirkus last because he hasn't rated anything. He's gonna rate the season, and I'll rate the season too if you're gonna rate the season.
I'll rate the season.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm gonna give it
I'm not
7.5
allowed
for the
to.
season.
This
You
ep-
don't. You're gonna give it like 18 buckets of Santa out of 50.
And how is that any less relevant than your
Fair
out
enough,
of
fair
score
enough.
score out of 5?
I thought you were doing
Just some
your-
arbitrary number.
You were doing like a tongue-in-cheek rating because you don't rate anything.
That's pretty
more.
good. That was pretty much how I feel about this episode.
Fair enough. I'm gonna give it 7.5 the entire season.
I'm gonna give this episode. I mean, it was definitely really, really good. So probably a 5 out of 5.
I'm shocked.
And for the season,
Wow!
It's gonna be out of 5.
the season's gonna be out of 10. I have to take into account the fact that I did go. What was it like? What did I give that one episode? Was it
think you gave it
4.9?
What, the
A
Tatooine
4.9.
one?
Yeah.
No, I think you gave that a full 4. You gave that a whole
Full
point
4.
off.
It was a
yeah.
full 4.
Yeah, I think you at some point talked to
So-
yourself maybe giving it a 4.5, but it was a 4.
I think in that span of things, it equals out of a 10 rating to be.
So
I'll give
10.
this.
He's
uh,
doing
He's
math.
doing the
Just
math.
fucking
10.
You know you want to give it a 10.
Just fucking
No,
do
I'm
it.
gonna give
I'm gonna
it
be
a-
mad if you don't give it a 10 out of 10.
Well, I can't give it a 10
Don't
out of
make it
10.
Yeah, you
bad.
can. You know when you saw that saber, you're like, I don't care. I don't care about anything bad that happened this whole season. It's like let the hate flow through you. Like you're just like let that bias just fuel
it.
you.
You're persuading me, but
Do
I
it.
don't
Give
know
it a
because I
fucking 10,
remember that
coward.
episode and you cowards. Yeah, fine. I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of
They
10.
talked me into the 10 out of
The
10.
peer
I did
pressure
not
10.
say a word.
Alrighty, my turn. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
series, I actually have not rewatched a single episode.
Wow.
of the season. But now that it's all said and done, I'm excited to get the chance to just binge it and I don't know, get like a full. I was gonna say a big screen experience because I've been watching on my phone, but like a medium size, I guess you'd go with. But yeah, the season, I'm gonna give it, I think, an 8 out of 10. It's solid. I was thinking like 7.5 maybe, but I didn't want to copy Travis or something like that. So
such a weird.
No, but overall, I was really happy with the show. It definitely scratched that Star Wars itch that. I don't know.
Was it a big itch?
It was a big itch, especially
yeah.
after seeing Rise of Skywalker. The second time, I actually really liked that movie, and just wanted to be surrounded by the Star Wars vibes, and it definitely is doing that. I'm liking the characters in it, and that's about it. So I'm excited for season 2. 10 months.
Nice.
10 months, 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
We don't know. He just said fall 2020. He wasn't specific, so
At least 5 weeks. We'll go with.
I still can't believe that 7 weeks has just gone by this fast.
it has.
Like, that's
when it was
wild.
coming up, I was like, oh man, we got 8
busy
weeks
time
of
of
the
year,
show,
yeah.
but it flew by.
It's
So
gone.
yeah, so if you hadn't checked out any of the episodes, you can go back now, listen to all 1 to 8. It's all there for you. We will be back. Me and Taylor will be back in February. We're reviewing the Clone Wars. So
yeah,
that should be something. So check out the retro.
Nice.
But if you liked what we did here this whole series, stay tuned because anything that happens Disney Plus, whether it's the Marvel shows, whether it's the Disney or the Star Wars shows, we're gonna be doing this for all. This will be some collective of people, who knows, but we'll be providing that content
Yeah.
for you because it's exciting times. See what Disney Plus is up to.
Rise
you
of
know, so-
Skywalker comp track, whenever that drops, possibly. Who knows?
Maybe we'll probably time that with Mando next year.
Yeah,
like
wait a
right
little bit.
before it comes out because we're running out of things to commentary track. So next is the Christmas special. We got to do that. That's
I've never seen it.
Yeah, me
it's a
neither.
wild time. So if you like what we did here, please just subscribe, like, rate, review, all that stuff. Taylor, where can they find us?
You can find us, ladies and gentlemen, with the internet connection in the search bar, Geekverse Space Podcast. There's gonna be lots of stuff popping in there. We didn't end up doing the movies Star Wars poll like we were supposed to, so
No, maybe in February.
Maybe-
you're doing your characters.
yeah,
I'm
in
not sure.
February, tune in because we got the big Star Wars animation poll that's gonna be popping in.
You haven't done a poll in a while. The fans are probably seething.
They are salivating for
You
it.
should
I need to take a
swindle in
break.
some Mandalorian characters. People
Some
are gonna be mad.
Mandalorian characters.
He's just doing all
Toro.
animation.
Well, no, I mean if it's all canon stuff, like
put
I'll have
Toro in
to
there.
I'll have to
Put
communicate
Toro.
with you because Toro will be in there. But I'll have
if you
to
don't
like
put
figure
avocado
out.
in there, people are gonna riot in the
If you, but
in the
no,
proverbial streets.
here's the reason why he won't put avocado in because he'll be definitely afraid that one of his precious animated characters will lose.
One of my clones.
Yeah, so
There's
he-
gonna be like
He'll
at
be-
least 50
He's gonna beat
clones.
Thrawn in the first round.
He's gonna put all the clones on one side and then just all different versions of Toro on the other side, so he can make it that Commander Cody can win or something.
That'd be
Oh,
nice.
man.
But yeah, look forward to that in February. It's been a while since we've had one, but it's hard. It's a long process.
Shoutouts.
It's hard,
for
alright.
doing that.
Thank you very much for tuning in. All the links are down below for your video and audio needs. Like I said, please subscribe, give us a written review on Apple Podcasts. That would help a lot. We've crossed the 150. We need 200 to hit our next milestone. So thank you for joining us for this entire series. Thank you for joining us for Rise of Skywalker because you guys really support us there. And yeah, when you hear from us next, it won't be boring. May the Force be with you.
See you later.
Always.